Russia is rationing petrol by license plate number. If your plate starts with an even digit, you fill up on even days. 7 regions, 10 refineries struck, output at its lowest since 2005. Petrol queues are growing? Putin called it temporary. Ukraine called it a campaign. Ukraine's drone campaign is no longer just striking Russian oil refineries. It is now reshaping daily life inside Russia itself. As fuel shortages deepen, several Russian regions have begun rationing petrol by license plate number, highlighting the growing impact of Kiev's long-range strikes. According to reports by Russian outlets RBC and Meduza, at least 7 Russian regions and cities have introduced fuel rationing as the country's refining capacity comes under increasing pressure. Under the new system, the first digit of a vehicle's registration plate determines the days on which motorists are allowed to buy petrol. Cars with license plates beginning with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 may refuel only on even-numbered dates, while those starting with 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 are restricted to odd-numbered days. Vladimir Putin, too, addressed the shortages at a meeting the previous day, describing the regional difficulties as temporary and citing a high margin of safety in the country's energy system, RBC reported. Putin also ordered a swift decision on subsidies for temporarily occupied Crimea, the outlet added. Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak announced that Russia is banning diesel fuel exports and will begin importing petroleum products in July. The restrictions came into force on 9th July in Mordovia, parts of the Nizhny Novgorod region, and the city of Astrakhan. The Pskov region followed on 10th July, while the Lipetsk region introduced similar measures a day later. Russia's Kursk region will start rationing fuel by license plate number on July 15th, Governor Alexander Kinstein announced.
Vehicles with plates beginning with an even digit may refuel on even-numbered days. Those beginning with an odd digit on odd-numbered days. They are meant to cut lines at gas stations and protect civilians from Ukrainian strikes. This practice has proven its effectiveness in other regions.
The fuel shortages have been building for months. Since May, Ukraine has intensified its drone campaign against Russia's oil infrastructure, with a particular focus on refineries. According to reports, every one of Russia's 10 largest oil refineries has now come under Ukrainian attack. The sustained strikes have disrupted oil production, refining and fuel distribution across the country. British analysts report that Russia's refinery output in July has fallen to its lowest levels since 2005, underscoring the scale of the disruption. Long queues have become increasingly common at petrol stations, prompting regional authorities to introduce emergency restrictions on fuel sales. In the Nizhny Novgorod region, the rationing system applies to petrol stations operated by Lukoil, Gazprom Neft, and Tatneft, with the exception of those located along the M12 federal highway. What began as a campaign targeting Russia's energy infrastructure is now producing visible consequences far from the battlefield. As Ukrainian drones continue to pressure Moscow's refining industry, fuel rationing has become the latest sign that the war is increasingly affecting everyday life inside Russia itself. Russia's deepening fuel crisis is no longer being measured only by empty pumps and soaring prices. It is now spilling into street violence as motorists brawl over petrol while Ukraine intensifies its campaign against Russia's energy infrastructure. Multiple videos circulating on social media show violent confrontations erupting at petrol stations across Russia after drivers endured hours-long queues caused by worsening fuel shortages. One video from Maslianino in Russia's Novosibirsk region shows a Chevrolet driver allegedly cutting a long queue, triggering a fistfight in which one man's shirt is ripped apart as punches are exchanged. Another clip from Astrakhan shows a woman striking a man after he allegedly tried to grab her phone while both waited in line for fuel. Similar clashes were also reported in the Rostov and Samara regions, highlighting growing public frustration. The unrest comes as Ukraine continues targeting Russia's oil infrastructure. Ukrainian long-range FP-1 kamikaze drones struck the Rosneft-owned Syzran oil refinery in the Samara region, setting parts of the facility ablaze. The refinery is reported to supply fuel to the Russian military. The reports also say Ukrainian drones targeted additional Russian vessels in the Sea of Azov, including oil tankers supporting logistics to occupied Crimea. Initial claims suggested at least 14 vessels were hit overnight, adding to what Ukrainian-linked reports describe as around 90 Russian ships damaged or destroyed over the past week. Those claims have not been independently verified. The shortages are being felt most acutely in occupied Crimea, where fuel prices in Yalta have reportedly climbed to around £350 per litre, more than double average UK prices, while shortages have disrupted supplies across several regions. Even Russian state media have acknowledged the crisis.
There is no petrol. I still remember. My generation remembers how food was actually rationed in 1992. We endured it, and we will endure it now. I have no doubts at all that the enemy did all of this so that we, like in 1917, ran off to overthrow the dear Tsar, and then made such a mess of things. I do not think this is that kind of time for us now. So I urge everyone, be calmer, stay calm. It is hard, yes, very hard. Be calmer about holding parties too. This is not the time.
President Vladimir Putin also acknowledged what he described as fuel supply problems, while insisting the shortages were not critical. As frustration mounts, some Russians are openly blaming the war. One motorist, identified only as Tanya, who reportedly waited 13 hours for fuel, said,
Putin should stop this senseless conflict and let us live normally.
With Ukraine maintaining pressure on Russia's refineries, fuel depots and maritime supply routes, analysts say the battle over energy logistics is increasingly being felt far beyond the battlefield, in the everyday lives of Russian civilians.